Assalamu alaikum students. I hope you are all well. Today is 26th August 2025 and the day is Tuesday. In this video we are going to start chapter number 5, exercise 5.1. It is on page number 55 of your book. But before starting the exercise 5.1, we will learn some important definitions which are going to be very useful to solve the questions of the exercise. So in this lesson number 1 of chapter number 5, we will learn these definitions, and these definitions later they are going to be useful in exercise 5.1. So let's see what these definitions are. The first definition is what are parallel lines. Second one is what is vertex. What do you mean by diagonal? What is a right angle? What is line of symmetry? And then at the last, what are the properties of square? Let's see these definitions one by one. First one is parallel lines. Lines that never cross each other, they are called parallel lines. The simplest example of parallel lines is train tracks. You know that the tracks of the train, they never cut each other, they never cross each other. They are always the same distance away from each other. It means they will never cross each other. So train tracks, they are the simplest example of parallel lines. Here we have diagrams showing two parallel lines. These two lines, they are parallel lines. Why they are parallel lines? Because they will never cross each other. It does not matter how much you extend them in both directions. You can extend them in both directions, but it does not matter how much you extend them. They are never going to cut each other. They are never going to cross each other. That's why these two lines are parallel to each other. Here you can see that I have drawn two small arrows on these lines. They represent that these two lines are parallel. So whenever you see that you have two lines and or more lines with arrows drawn on the lines, it means that those two lines are parallel to each other. The direction of the arrows, it does not matter. It may be in the leftward, the arrows may be in the leftward direction or maybe in the rightward direction, but if you see that there are two lines and they are having arrows on it, it means they are representing that the two lines are parallel to each other. Here we have a second diagram. These are non-parallel lines. Why these two lines are non-parallel lines? Because if I extend this line like this, and if I extend this line like this, here you can see that they are crossing each other at this point. Therefore these two lines are non-parallel lines, because parallel lines are the lines that never cross each other. And here in this diagram, these two lines, they are crossing each other at this point. If we extend these lines, they are crossing at this point. It means these two lines are non-parallel lines. So I hope so you understood that what are parallel lines. Now let's see our second definition. What is the meaning of the vertex? A vertex is a corner point where two or more sides of a shape meet, which means the point where the two sides of the shape meet, that point is called vertex. We can easily understand it through this diagram. Here I have a square shape. This one is the side of the square and this one is also a side of a square, and these two sides, they are meeting at this point. This point is called vertex. Vertex is a corner point. Vertex is a corner point where two or maybe more sides of the shape meet. So this point is a vertex because this side and this side, they are meeting at this point. This point, it is also a vertex because this side and this side of the square, they are meeting at this point. This point is also a vertex. So all the corners, here we have 4 corners in this shape. All these corners, they are called vertex. What is their name? Their name is vertex. This side and this side, they are meeting at this point. It means this one is vertex of this shape. This side and this side, they are meeting at this point. It means this one is vertex of this shape. So in square we have 4 corners, which means we have 4 vertices. The plural of the vertex is vertices. एक से ज़्यादा हो, एक सिंगल हो तो हम उसे वर्टेक्स कहते हैं, और एक से ज़्यादा हो तो वर्टिसेस कहते हैं. सो देयर आर 1 2 3 and 4 vertices of square. I hope you get the idea. What do you mean by vertex? Vertex means the corners of the shape where the 2 or more sides meet. Now let's see the third definition. Third definition is, what is diagonal? A diagonal is a straight line that connects 2 opposite vertices, which means corners. A diagonal is a straight line that connects 2 opposite vertices of a shape. Let's understand it through example. Here I have a square. Now the diagonal is a line which connects 2 opposite vertices of the shape. Now this one is the vertex of this this one is the vertex of this square. Which vertex is opposite to this vertex? You can see that clearly. This one is opposite to this one. The line which connects the opposite vertices, this line is connecting these 2 opposite vertices of the shape, which means opposite corners of the shape. वो line जो shape के opposite vertices को connect करती है, shape के opposite corners को connect करती है, that line is called a diagonal. So it means this line here is a diagonal of the square because it is connecting the opposite vertices of the square. Now we can also draw a diagonal in this way, because this one and this one, they are opposite corners. So it means a line connecting these 2 corners will be a diagonal. Here you can see in this diagram, this line, it is connecting this corner with this corner. These 2 corners, they have a special name, which what is that name? Vertex. These 2 vertices, they are opposite to each other. In front of, opposite means they are in front of each other. This one and this one, they are opposite to each other, and this line is connecting these 2 vertices, these 2 corners. So this line is diagonal. So in square shape, we can draw 2 diagonals, one in this way and one in this way. I hope you get the idea about diagonal. Diagonal is a line, straight line, which connects 2 opposite corners of the shape, and the corners, they have a special name, vertices. Now let's move on to the fourth definition. Fourth definition is, what is a right angle, or when does a right angle form? You know that what is an angle, and when does an angle form? When 2 lines meet at a point, they form an angle between them. You already know this definition. Now when does a right angle form? When 2 lines form a square corner, they form a 90-degree angle. 90-degree angle is called a right angle. When does a 90-degree or a right angle form? When 2 lines form a square corner, they form a 90-degree angle. जब 2 लाइंस स्क्वायर कॉर्नर, दो लाइंस मीट करती हैं और स्क्वायर कॉर्नर बनाती हैं, तब उनमें जो एंगल फॉर्म होता है वो 90 डिग्री होता है, राइट एंगल होता है. लेट्स सी इट थ्रू एन एग्जांपल. द सिंपलेस्ट एग्जांपल इज द कॉर्नर ऑफ योर बुक. The corner of your book, it forms a square corner, so therefore the angle at the corner of the book is 90 degree or right angle. Here you can see that this one is line 1, and you can say that this one is line 2, line 1 and line 2. They are meeting at this point, they are meeting each other at this point. Now at this point you can see that these two lines, they are making a square corner. You can draw a small square here where these two lines are meeting. It means these two lines, they are forming a square corner at the point where they meet. Okay, line 1 and line 2, they are meeting at this point, and at this point you can draw a square corner. So whenever the two lines are like this, which means they meet at a point, but how? At the point where they meet, they form a square corner, then the angle between these two lines is a right angle or a 90 degree angle. Whenever the two lines are like this, such that they form a square corner at the point where they meet. ठीक है, जब भी दो लाइंस इस तरह से होंगी कि जहाँ पर वो मीट कर रही हैं वहाँ पर एक स्क्वायर कॉर्नर बन रहा हो, ये जैसे मैंने बनाया हुआ है, then we say that there is an angle of 90 degree between these two lines, or we say that there is a right angle between these two lines. So I hope you understood the definition of right angle. Now let's move on to the fifth definition. It is a line of symmetry. What is line of symmetry? A line that divides a shape into two equal shapes. A line which divides, which means a line which divides a shape into two exactly equal shapes, that line is called line of symmetry. Let's understand it through an example. Here I have drawn a square shape. A square shape means a shape having four equal sides. So this one is a square shape. Now this line is dividing this square into exactly two equal parts, which means if I fold this part, which is on the right side of this line, if I fold this line, this part along the line on the other part like this, if I fold this right part like this along the line, on the second part which is on the left side, they will exactly fit onto each other. अगर इस part को fold करें इस part के ऊपर, they will exactly fit onto each other. Therefore we can say that this line which is dividing the shape into exactly two equal shapes, they look like the mirror image of each other. These two parts, they must look like the mirror image of each other, which means if you fold one part onto the other part, they will must fit onto each other exactly. ठीक है, that line is called a line of symmetry. Now in this second diagram I have a rectangle in this shape. So can we draw a line of symmetry in this shape, which means a line which divides this rectangle into exactly two equal shapes. Those two parts, they must look like mirror image of each other. So I can draw a line here on this rectangle. This line, you can see that it is dividing the rectangle into two exactly equal parts. they look like the mirror image of each other. If I fold this part along the line on the second part, if I just fold my paper like this part is going to be exactly fit onto this part. Okay, so it means this line is dividing the shape into exactly two equal shapes. Therefore this line is line of symmetry for this shape. I am going to summarize this definition. Line of symmetry means a line which divides the shape into two equal shapes, into exactly two equal parts, such that if you just take your one part and if you just put that one part on the top of the second part, they will must exactly fit onto each other. Like ये line है और इस part को अगर ऐसे fold करें along this line, so it must exactly fit on the second part, then that line will be line of symmetry. Similarly, this line, it is the line of symmetry for this shape because it is dividing this rectangle into exactly two equal parts, which means if I just take this part and if I just fold this part onto this second part, they will exactly fit onto each other. Like if I just fold these two parts, they are going to be matched like this. So that's why this line is a line of symmetry for this rectangle, the line which divides the shape into exactly two equal parts, and those two equal parts, they will look like the mirror image of each other, which means if you just fold one part onto the other part, they will exactly fit onto each other. Now let's see our next task. We have done the parallel lines definition, vertex, diagonal, right angle, line of symmetry. Now let's see the properties of a square. Here we have the properties of a square. Properties of the square means, you know that which shape is called a square. A four-sided shape is called a square, and all the sides of the shape must be equal. So the properties of the square shape means facts about the square shape. Facts means the statements which are true for this shape square. Now let's see, we will learn the total five properties about square in this lesson. The first property of the square shape is equal sides, that how many equal sides are there in square shape. Square has four equal sides. Square is a four-sided shape and all the sides are equal in length. Here I have drawn a square. We have 1, 2, 3 and 4 sides of this shape, and all these sides, they are equal in length. It means if this line is 5 centimeter, this one is also must be 5 centimeter, this one will be 5 centimeter and this one will be 5 centimeter. So whatever the length one side is having, the other sides, they will also be having the same length. So all the sides are equal. This one is the first property. We have studied equal sides. The square has four equal sides. Now the second property is parallel sides. How many parallel sides are there in the square? Square has two pairs of parallel sides. A pair means two things. So the square has two pairs of parallel sides. Let's understand it through this diagram. here you can say that this one is a square. This line and this line, we have studied the definition of parallel lines. This line and this line, these two are parallel to each other. Why they are parallel to each other? Because they will never cross each other, or they will never cut each other if we extend them. It means this one and this one, these two are parallel lines. This one is one pair. A pair means two things. Pair में दो चीज़ें होती हैं. So this one and this one, these two are parallel lines and it makes one pair. So one pair ये हो गया. Second is this one. This side and this side, they are parallel to each other. ठीक है, ये और ये तो कट कर रही हैं, but this one and this one, they will never cut each other, they will never cross each other if you extend them in both directions like this. These two lines, they will never cross each other. It means this one is parallel to this one. So एक पेयर ये parallel lines का, एक पेयर ये है parallel lines का. So we have total two pairs of parallel sides in square shape. और इसमें कौन कौन सी sides parallel होती हैं? Opposite sides parallel होती हैं. This one is opposite to this side. Opposite means in front of each other. These two are opposite sides, they are parallel. This one is one pair. These two sides, they are opposite to each other and they are parallel. This one is second pair. So we have two pairs of parallel sides in square shape. This one was the second property of the square shape, parallel sides. How many equal sides square has? 4 equal sides. How many parallel sides it has? It has two pairs of parallel sides. Okay, one pair is this and one pair is this. Now let's see the third property of square. The third property is related to angles. How many 90-degree angles are there? In square shape we have all the angles are 90 degree. In square shape all the angles are 90 degree. Why? You can see that this side and this side, they are making a square corner here, and we have learned the definition of right angle in today's lesson. Yes, right angle. When does the right angle form? When the two lines make a square corner, they form a right angle. Between them they form a 90-degree angle. So here in the square you can see that these two lines, they are making a square corner here. It means this angle is 90 degree. This side and this side, they are making a square corner here. It means there is an angle of 90 degree. This side and this side, they are making a square corner. Again there, it means there is an angle of 90 degree between them. Then this side and this side, they are making a square corner. It means there is an angle of 90 degree between these two lines. So all the sides, they are making square corners. It means they are having the angle of 90 degree between them. So all the angles, all the 4 angles, total 4 angles are there inside the square. So all the 4 angles are 90 degree. This one is the third property in square. All the 4 angles are 90 degree. Now let's see the fourth property of square. Fourth property is related to diagonals. It says diagonals of the square bisect each other at 90 degree. Let's understand it through a diagram. Here I have the diagram of the square. This one and this one, they are opposite vertices, and this line is joining the two opposite vertices. It means this one is a diagonal. Now this one and this one, these two are opposite corners. So this line which is connecting these two corners is a diagonal line. So this one is a diagonal line, this one is also a diagonal line. डायगनल की डेफिनेशन अभी अभी हमने इसी लेसन में पढ़ी भी है. डायगनल, विच लाइन इज कॉल्ड डायगनल? द लाइन विच कनेक्ट्स two opposite corners is a diagonal line. The line which connects two opposite corners is a diagonal line. So square has two diagonal lines, one in this direction and one in this direction. So it means this line and this line, they are diagonal lines. Now the property says diagonals bisect each other at 90 degrees. So bisect, let's first see that what is the meaning of bisect. Bisect means they cut each other in half, which means this diagonal, it is cutting this diagonal into two equal parts. ये वाला diagonal इस diagonal को two equal parts में cut कर रहा है. One part is here and one part is here. So ये diagonal इस diagonal को के two equal parts कर रहा है. Similarly this diagonal is cutting this diagonal into two equal parts. ये वाला diagonal इस diagonal के two equal parts कर रहा है. One part is this and the second part is this. So दोनों diagonals एक दूसरे को equal parts में cut कर रहे हैं. Each diagonal is cutting the second diagonal into two equal parts. ये diagonal इस सेकेंड डायगनल के टू इक्वल पार्ट्स कर रहा है. दिस वन एंड दिस वन दे आर इक्वल. सिमिलरली ये डायगनल ये इस डायगनल के दो इक्वल पार्ट्स कर रहा है. वन पार्ट इज दिस एंड वन पार्ट इज दिस. सो ईच डायगनल इज बाइसेक्टिंग द अदर डायगनल. बाइसेक्टिंग means they cut each other in half. They cut each other into टू इक्वल पार्ट्स. एक डायगनल दूसरे को टू इक्वल पार्ट्स में कट करता है. दिस इज़ द मीनिंग ऑफ बाइसेक्ट. टू इक्वल पार्ट्स में कट करना. नाउ द डायगनल्स बाइसेक्ट ईच अदर एट 90 डिग्री. इट सेज एट द पॉइंट where the two diagonals cross each other, where the two diagonals cut each other, at that point they form an angle of 90 degree. Why they form an angle of 90 degree at the point where they meet? Because you can see that this is the point where these two diagonals are meeting, and at this point they are making a square corner. You can draw a square corner here. Likewise यहाँ पर भी आप बना सकते हो. यहाँ पर भी square corner बन रहा है, यहाँ पर भी square corner बन रहा है. So at the point where the two diagonals are meeting, they are forming a square corner. It means there is an angle of 90 degree at that point. So there are two important things in this property. Diagonals bisect each other, which means they cut each other in equal parts. This diagonal cuts this diagonal into two equal parts, and then this diagonal cuts this diagonal into two equal parts. This is the meaning of bisect. And at the point where they meet, they form an angle of 90 degree. Why? Because they form a square corner there. जहाँ पर वो एक दूसरे को कट करते हैं वहाँ पर square corner बनता है. It means they form an angle of 90 degree at that point. I hope so you understood this definition. Diagonals bisect each other at 90 degree. They cut each other in half, and at the point where they meet they form an angle of 90 degree. Now let's see the last definition. It is lines of symmetry. How many lines of symmetry a square shape has? A square has 4 lines of symmetry. Now we have studied the definition of line of symmetry in this lesson, and that definition was the line which divides the shape into two equal shapes. ठीक है, into two exactly equal parts. Those two parts must look like mirror image of each other. This line, it is dividing this square into two equal parts. So this one is a line of symmetry. This line, it is dividing this rectangle into two equal parts, it is a line of symmetry of this rectangle. So अब यहाँ पर this property says the square has four lines of symmetry. It means we can draw four lines of symmetry in a square. How? Let's see in these diagrams. This one is a square. This line, you can see that this dotted line, it is dividing this square into exactly two equal parts, which means if I just take this part which is on the right side, and if I just put this part onto the second part, it will fit this part. This part will fit exactly on the top of the second part if I fold this part onto this part along this line. So this line is dividing the shape into two equal parts. It means this one is line of symmetry for the shape. So एक line हम ऐसे draw कर सकते हैं vertically. Now we can also draw a line like this. You can see that this line is also dividing the square into exactly two equal parts. This part and this part, they are equal exactly, which means they are the mirror image of each other. If I take this part and if I just fold this part onto the second part, they will exactly fit onto each other, which means this line is dividing the shape, this square, into exactly two equal parts. Therefore this line is a line of symmetry for square. Now let's see how can we draw another line of symmetry in the square, because it has four lines of symmetry. Now we can draw a line of symmetry in the square diagonal wise. The diagonal of the square, it acts as a line of symmetry as well. You can see this dotted line, it is dividing this square into exactly two equal shapes. They are looking like the mirror image of each other. If you just take this part and if you fold it on the second part, they will exactly fit onto each other. It means this line is dividing the shape into exactly two equal shapes. Therefore this line is a line of symmetry for this square. This one is also a diagonal, but this time the diagonal is acting like a line of symmetry for this shape. We can draw another line of symmetry. Here you can see in this diagram the second diagonal. You know that we can draw two diagonals in the square, this one and then like this. So this line, you can see that this line, this dotted line, it is dividing this shape into exactly two equal shapes. They are looking like the mirror image of each other. If you just take this part and if you just put this part by folding this paper along this line, if you just put this part on the top of the second part, this part on the top of this part, by folding this paper along this line, this part is going to be exactly fit on this part. Therefore these two are exactly equal. As this line is dividing the shape into exactly two equal shapes, therefore this line is line of symmetry for this shape. So we can draw four lines of symmetry in this square shape, one vertically, one horizontally, one and then the two lines diagonal wise, this one and then this one. So the square has four lines of symmetry. These are the properties of the square, and these are important. You need to learn these properties to solve the questions of exercise 5.1. Let's summarize the properties of square. The first property is equal sides. How many equal sides a square has? It has four equal sides. All the sides of the square, they are equal, which means they are having the same length. Now the second property is parallel sides. How many pairs of parallel sides are there in a square shape? It has two pairs of parallel sides. आपने ये बात याद रखनी है, क्योंकि these are the things which are going to be useful to solve the questions of exercise 5.1. how many parallel sides are there in the square? A square has two pairs of parallel sides. Which two pairs? This line and this line, these two sides, they are parallel to each other. This is one pair. Then this line and this line, they are parallel to each other. This one is the second pair. So a square has two pairs of parallel sides, one pair, and then this one is second pair. Now the third property is about the angles. What are angles in a square? All the angles in a square are 90 degree. ये बात आप याद रखोगे, all the angles inside a square, they are 90 degree, because all the four sides, they form square corners at the point where they meet. It means there are four right angles in a square. All the angles are 90 degree in a square. ये third property है square की. The fourth property is about the diagonals of the square. How many diagonals are there? There are two diagonals, and those two diagonals bisect each other. Bisect each other means this diagonal, it cuts this diagonal into two equal parts, and then this diagonal, if we see similarly, is cutting this diagonal, is cutting this one into two equal parts. This is the meaning of bisect. एक diagonal दूसरे को दो equal parts में cut करता है, and they form an angle of 90 degree at the point where they cut each other. You can see that these two lines, these two diagonals, they are meeting at this point, and we can draw a square corner here. It means there is an angle of 90 degree between these two diagonals. 90 degree here, 90 degree here, 90 here, and 90 here. So diagonals bisect each other and they form a 90 degree angle at the point where they meet. This one is the fourth property. Now let's see the final property, the line of symmetry. How many lines of symmetry we can draw in a square? We can draw four lines of symmetry in a square. One in vertical direction, one horizontally, one vertically. This one is line of symmetry as it is dividing the shape into two exactly equal shapes. And this one is also a line of symmetry. You can say it is vertical line of symmetry. This one is horizontal line of symmetry. We can draw another line of symmetry diagonal wise. This one is a line of symmetry because it is dividing the shape into exactly two equal parts. And this one, this diagonal is also a line of symmetry for the shape because it is dividing the shape into exactly two equal parts. So these are the five properties of the square. In this lesson, we have learned the definition of parallel lines. What are parallel lines? What is the meaning of vertex? What are diagonals of a shape? What is the meaning of right angle? How many lines of symmetry we can draw in a shape? And what do you mean by line of symmetry? And then what are the properties of the shape? These are some important definitions. This one is the most important, properties of a square. We are going to use these properties in exercise 5.1. Therefore you need to learn these properties. ये properties ऐसे ही आपने याद रखनी है कि how many equal sides are there, how many parallel sides are there, what about angles, and how many lines of symmetry a square has, all these things, how many diagonals are there. So you need to learn all the properties of the square. They are going to be useful in exercise 5.1. So learn them. I hope you understood all these definitions. If you have any question, you can text me. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.